All right, welcome guys. Welcome to another episode here with Dirk from Prime XPT Academy. Today we're going to talk about trading psychology, and Dirk here has some examples of some problems that might arise with the backtesting versus live trading, and I'm going to be talking about some issues that I'm currently experiencing right now in my own trading. So let's run the intro, and right afterwards we'll have a discussion about trading psychology. And as you might have guessed, with Dirk being here, this video is sponsored by Prime XPT. You can trade indices, you can trade the stock market with the indices, you can trade the cryptocurrency market and the Forex market all on the same platform. And you also have co-vesting where you can invest in successful traders to trade for you. So check out the link in the description below. I think the deposit bonus is up to $7,500 today. So definitely check that out. All right, welcome, Derp. Not Derp, Dirk.
Wow. Yes, hi. How are you? Nice to be here with you guys again.
All right, so let me know. You had some ideas on you want to talk about the struggles with when you back tested it, then you start live trading.
Yeah, and maybe let me start by this. I mean, we tend to the same on my channel talk a lot about trading strategies actually, and of course this is like, in my opinion, one of the obviously most important pillars when you start your trading career, that you need a plan. Like with any business out there, you need a plan that you want to execute and stick to. However, equally important to this, in my opinion, from my experience, is that you gotta have this the right mindset also when it comes to trading. So maybe let's phrase it as trading psychology, because sooner or later, when you do live trading, you will encounter situations that are really, really challenging and that are going to make you doubt yourself. And I noticed for a lot of beginner traders that take the time maybe and trade for the first weeks or even months on a demo account and are successful in doing so, very successful sometimes in trading the demo account, that once they transition from the demo account to a real money account, they suddenly start failing and making mistakes, and somehow things do not work as well anymore than when they were trading demo. And of course, this is due to the fact, when you trade on a demo account, you're not really risking anything except, of course, your time. Which should be valuable as well. But once, let's say, you have saved up 10,000 or maybe even more, and you trust your system now so much, and you start trading it, and then suddenly you encounter things that you didn't encounter on the demo account, that you open a position and think like, oh, I should close it immediately again, take a little bit of profit, so I maybe can build up some money, a couple of percent already. So when a drawdown comes on my real money account, it's not going to affect me so much. So you start taking winners too early, you start ignoring maybe stop losses, you start adding to positions that are already in loss in the hopes to come out break even. So you make all those mistakes you shouldn't be doing and that you didn't do when you were trading on a demo account. And I think this is like one thing that is not really addressed very often out there when it comes to trading education. Like the step from a demo trader to a real money trader, that is maybe also even depending on being successful with the trading to keep a certain lifestyle. Did you encounter something like this yourself, Lib?
I think when it comes to back testing, then moving into the forward testing phase, because it is still a testing phase. You have to remember that, right? You're not really through the testing phase until you're done with the back testing and the forward testing. And then after the forward testing is when you have that confidence, right? And I think what's very important when you start live trading after back testing is you need to trust the result of the back testing and also do everything exactly as you've done in back testing, because you can't start adding different ideas and different rules in the forward testing, because then you're slightly tweaking the system, right? You're slightly tweaking it, and you haven't backtested that, right? So a good example for me was when I first started backtesting my system. I knew in the back of my head that I'm not going to enter a position if there's a high impact news event for that currency pair, um, that day or around a couple of hours before or after, right? So because I'm a swing trader, those types of events can just completely destroy my trading setups. I want to have a clear runway, so to say. But I didn't really test that in the backtesting phase. That's just something that I've added live, right? So I had to actually go back in the backtesting phase to look at. It's very complicated, right? You have to look at when is the high impact news event happening in history, and then look at the entry triggers. And I've actually seen that it doesn't matter as much as I thought it did. Right? The only thing that really matters is um, there's going to be a lot of added volatility and a lot of wicks coming along on those news events. So you might want to have a wider stop loss and stuff like that. But I think what's important here is you need to be as consistent in forward testing as you were in live testing. I mean back testing, and really have the confidence that you had when you started live trading, because we don't know when the losing periods are coming, right?
Yeah,
So
that's very interesting. First of all, that you say, like, it might be that once you do the forward testing or the live trading, that you suddenly encounter something that you overlooked before. In your case, the news events, and it's really, I cannot really highlight that too much. It's really important when you notice something like this that you stop at that point and go into the back testing phase, because we are in a chaotic system. It's like forecasting the weather sometimes, where you have literally the butterfly somewhere flipping its wings, and that's why we get a tornado in, I don't know, in Illinois in the United States or something like this. And so that definitely is a point. Also, trusting yourself is really a major point, and it's something I still to this day sometimes have problems with as well, because I just mentioned this to Lip before we started the recording here. Sometimes when I deploy new systems that I've intensely backtested, that I trust very much, and where, for example, I have a setup that usually 6 out of 10 trades are running for me, I encounter very often that once I start the system, the first 1, 2, 3, 4 trades are failures where my stop losses hit. And then I automatically go into this mental state where I start doubting myself. I think, is that really, did you oversee something like this? Maybe you should tweak the system, add an indicator, do something else, have stop losses that are more away from the system. But I mean, over the years, obviously, I have learned to kind of ignore that inner voice in me. But I remember in the beginning, especially, it was very difficult for me not to start tweaking the system and adding to the chaos that markets are already.
that's a very good point. I like that you talk about the you said the chaos that the market, that's already in the market, and your job is kind of to try to make it a little bit simpler to understand, and from that chaos kind of create a logical system they can follow. And I had like, in the beginning I said I want to talk about something that I'm currently experiencing, and that's exactly that, right? Last couple of weeks, at least this month and probably last month as well, I've really started feeling like the current market conditions that we are in right now. First of all, it's we haven't seen this in a very long time, right? We've had pretty, I would say, some clean and clear trends going for quite some time, especially last year was very nice. You had some very nice trends last year, I believe. Then in the beginning of this year, we started to see a very different macro scenario around the world, macroeconomic situation, right? So for me, that means my system is not performing as well as it did last year, right? But so I started thinking in terms of, I'm doing my journaling, and so there's two things I want to discuss here. First, the thing that even with me having a win rate this month of 33%, I'm usually at 50%, right? So even with a win rate of 33% this month with 10 losers and 5 winners and I think 3 break-even trades, right? Uh, I'm still at a 4% profit this month, right? Because I had one big winner, which was a 6R winner, right? So
Mm.
it was all about like loser, 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 small winner, loser, 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 break even, loser, 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 small winner, and then all of a sudden a big winner. This is one trade. It's one trade that paid for everything, right?
Yeah.
One trade. And that's interesting. That's very, very interesting because it means that I've decided to trade my system and that system only, right? I've decided to
Mm.
trade my system and I'm going to trade that system. I'm confident in the system because I've been trading it for a long time. And I know that the losing periods and the drawdown periods, they will come. And I have to be consistent and persistent in the way
Mm.
I'm approaching the market. And then all of a sudden, you have that big winner and it, takes care of all the losers. But during this period, before that big winner, I had a conversation with a student of mine, and I said, I wrote to him and said, you know what, it feels really nice to have this big winner because I started losing confidence in the last
Mm.
couple of weeks, and sometimes you just need a reminder that when the system is working, it's working very well, right? And so during this period, I started thinking, what if I, instead of basing my entries on the 4 hour, what if I go into the 1 hour? I'm gonna have
Mm.
more trades. I'm gonna have tighter stop losses. I'm gonna make more profits. But I've been there, right? I've been there. I always start thinking like this. I know that this time I'm not gonna do it because the last 2 million times haven't worked, right? So
Yeah.
why is it gonna work this time? So yeah.
It's, yeah, I mean, this is exactly, you have trained yourself to be disciplined. You've
Yeah,
been through this process over and over again, and by now you know yourself. Basically, like, okay, I have this little devil on my shoulder that's going to talk doubt into my ear. The little devil being yourself, obviously, and I should not listen to him. And this is because you treat trading like a business. The trading strategy is your business plan, which you are following. And you would do for sure the same if you would not be a trader. You would, I don't know, maybe sell machines to export them to overseas somewhere. So if you have a business and you are aware of that, most businesses have exactly the same pattern. They have some clients where they lose money with because maybe they send their goods there and the client returns them because he's not satisfied with the goods. It's a loss for you. You've produced the good, you have sent it. Now you have to store it somewhere. You don't know if somebody else is going to buy it, so you made a loss. Then you have a couple of clients, that, oh yeah, that are all right. You earn maybe a little bit of money, maybe you break even. And then you have this big one client that is bringing in like 50 or 60% of your revenue per month.
yeah,
This is usually how normal everyday business, when you have a shoe shop or whatever, is working out. And it's the same for trading. And before we start the recon, we just talked about this. The same for me. I have a number of trades that run into the stop loss every week, every day, as a matter of fact. I have a number of trades that are stopped out at break even because they run into my direction. I adjust the stop loss to break even, then they run down again to the stop loss. And then I have those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades that really make the bank for me, where either the timing is perfect or the exit is perfect, or really they are executed. They did exactly what was forecasted by that trading strategy that I was using on them. This is normal. And of course, if you have a phase where you over and over again get punched into the face by the market, you will start doubting yourself. But this is why it's so important to spend a lot of time in this back testing periods to build up
yeah,
this confidence that, hey, I have tested this system on 10,000 trades, or maybe even 50,000 trades if you trade on very low time frames. And I know eventually it's going to make me money. And yeah, in the past, there were stretches also where I had drawdowns, and maybe the drawdowns even lasted for days or weeks. But if I stick with a system, eventually probability is going to play into my cards, and I'm going to earn money with it. I think also
Yeah.
this is why a lot of people like to automate systems to kind of take this emotional equation out of it. I'm personally not so much a friend of that, because I think the market is mostly too complex to automate it, especially as an amateur trader. You don't have the resources like hedge funds, obviously, to automate things. But yeah, trust yourself. If you've done the work, you've earned yourself your trust.
Yeah, and also I think when it comes to backtesting, and by the way, I just wanted to go through a reply I had, when writing to my student here, saying that I kind of started perhaps losing confidence. I think this is very interesting. He said, like, yeah, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because he was talking to his wife the other night and saying how he felt like he was stuck in his trading, and we all can relate to that feeling where you're stuck, you're not getting anywhere, right? And he started losing periods, like he started losing confidence in the system, and kind of started talking himself out of trades and making impulsive decisions. He said, like, to hear me say the exactly same thing, that I'm having the same feelings, it was very reassuring to him. So I think that's a great point, right? You and me and every retail trader out there and every typical trader out there, we have very similar feelings. We have very similar emotions, because the
Yeah.
human psychology works very similarly across, all groups of people. So it's not about that. It's not that I don't feel FOMO, or I don't feel the urge to take a trade, or I don't feel like when I'm having a losing period, I still feel like, maybe I should tweak it, right? And you probably sometimes feel the same as well. And
Absolutely.
but the difference is, we know where that road is heading, right? We know that if we go down that road of tweaking the system, we will find ourselves so deep in the red that it's going to be very hard to get back. And that's the time when we tell ourselves, you know what? I really need to get my mind right. I really need to stop doing these mistakes, right? So when you get that feeling where you say, maybe I should do this, maybe I should tweak it a little bit, that's the first sign that you're going on tilt, right?
Yeah.
When you go down that road, you're on tilt, and you're gonna see your equity curve just go down. And the dangerous part here is if it works, all right?
Yeah.
If you start tweaking it, and it's like, holy shit, I made a 10R winner, and now I'm good for 4 months, right? And you start going down that road, and you now think that because you had a big winner, you can now trade the system which you haven't back tested, and it's going to be inconsistent, and you're going to start losing and losing and losing and losing. So stick to what you know, and identify your emotions, because this is this recording is for on trading psychology. So I also think it makes sense to maybe come up with some tips and tricks on how to actually deal with those impulses, right? And for me, having a trading journal, not only a trading journal in terms of screenshots with entries and stops and take profit, but also notes on what am I feeling and how am I feeling, and what's my emotions when I take this trade, when I exit. And also, if you do go into a losing period and you start getting stressed and you start thinking along the lines that we've just discussed, take a pen and paper, right? Pen and paper, a physical pen and paper, not on laptop or desktop, just physical pen and paper, because when you write, handwriting has shown to have much better effect, right? And write down your thoughts, right? I want to modify my system. I want to go down in the lower time frames. Read that over again, and then you're going to realize that this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea. Take time to analyze your own emotions and your own feelings, right? It's super important. It's probably the number one reason why most people fail, is because they trade on that gut feeling and that
Yeah.
emotional part of self, which comes, I mean, that comes at the end of a trading career, right? When you're able to trade based on intuition and gut feeling, that's when you've mastered trading in a sense. And very few people have actually done that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think really two important takeaways for me there. You have to find a way to deal with your whole emotion. That can be a trading journal, and absolutely agree with you. If you are a beginner, you should have a trading journal because you'll find out once you start this. And yes, use a physical pen, use a physical piece of paper to do so. It's going to do different things to the synapse in your brain, and you'll find out that you reflect on your emotions. And when you start reflecting on your emotions, you have laid a foundation to grow on your emotions. The other thing that you can do that I have made good experiences with is that you have a strong community of traders that you are connected with, where everybody is as open in you in admitting, yeah, hey, I'm going through the same stuff as you at the moment. I'm also doubting myself. I mean, you heard it now from Lip, who's successful in trading, that he's doubting himself. You heard it from me, who has done this for 20 plus years, that I'm still doubting myself sometimes. Not sometimes. That feeling can last for weeks. It's normal. And, one step to becoming a better trader, or as a matter of fact, into becoming better in anything, is that you have to admit that you're not perfect, and that what you're going through is the same stuff everybody in that profession is going through. So why not talk about it? And this is why it's so beautiful, to have a trading community like the Burp Nest, or us here at the Prime XPT Training Academy, where you can address that, where you have, I don't know, forum, Discord server, or whatever, or like you can write to your mentor, to Lip, for example, an email addressing this, hey, I have an issue here, and you get an answer, and you get an honest answer. You don't have somebody at the other end, that pretends to be the big shot guru guy that is always right and supposedly makes billions of US dollars every day, and probably in reality is, just some scam.
Yeah, it's very, very true. I mean, a lot of paid groups and trading gurus and stuff like that, they get a lot of shit, and for good reasons as well. But like, there's a very easy way to distinguish real traders from fake influencer traders, right? And it's you look at how, first of all, if they say they have, I'd say if they say that they have about 70% win rate, right there, you should be careful, right? And if they say they have 90, it's a joke, right? But if also you look at how are they dealing with losers, right? What's their, and can they show emotions, right? Can they show emotions, and can they talk about the emotions that come, like weakness, right? Weakness, because trading is all about embracing that because you expose yourself, right? You expose yourself to the market, and you give yourself to the market, and you say, like, here's my weaknesses, this is me, and all the emotions that comes with it, right? And if you see a trader on Twitter who never posts losers, or never talks about the hard part about trading, stuff like that. So I think if you got to look for that, basically look for people that post about problems and losers and how to deal with that, because chances are that most people that are trading professionally actually loses more than they win, right? They lose more than they win. And let me repeat that: they lose more than they win, right? When you lose more than you win, you shouldn't have only winners to show, right? It's a very easy way to distinguish a real trader from a fake trader. Are they winning a lot? Are they only winning? That's the problem right there, because also, if they had a trading system where they win 90% and make a lot of money, those types of people, they are not on YouTube. They are not on YouTube. They are not on Twitter. They are trading in the shadows, most likely, right?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I don't know anybody that wins like 90% of the time, even 70% of the time, because it's just unrealistic. If you look at the stretch of 1,000 trades, yeah, you'll have stretches where you achieve that for sure. I mean, that's the other side of the bell curve. Yeah, and you will have periods where you lose a lot. You also have periods where you win a lot. And I think it's also important to talk about those, because in those times, you're going to feel like the king or the queen. You're going to feel like, I'm the big shot. I'm the chosen one. I am the matrix. I whatever I choose to do, the market is going to listen to me. And most of the time, this is the point when the market proves you wrong. And yeah, look for people that openly talk about stuff like this, that admit that trading can be hard. And I mean, I'm aware it's difficult. And of course, from a marketing perspective, maybe also sometimes not so wise to talk about things like this, to talk about our failures, because that is a hard sell. Admitting that something is a hard sell. And most of the time, people are looking for easy ways out. How often do you get messages like, I'm looking for this indicator that is always right, that makes me a millionaire in short time?
Yeah, because if I go out on Twitter and say like, buy my trading course, you're gonna have guaranteed profits, you're gonna have 90% win rate, buy. I'm gonna make a lot of money selling that course. Right? I'm gonna make a lot of money selling that course, and I'm obviously gonna make less money by saying like, I can buy this trading course. You might succeed, you might not. Chances are you're not gonna succeed. That won't sell as much, but. And I think you agree with here, like what we're doing in Bird Nest and the Trading Academy, the Prime XP Trading Academy, is we're helping people, right? And we're gonna help people long term. Like we want to give them the tools necessary to basically change their lives, right? Because that's what happens when you become a profitable trader. You can do, like, the freedom is amazing, right? So we want to help people long term. We don't want to, like, it's and then again, like I make money from trading, so that's what I love doing, and that's what I'm going to do. And it's quite obvious that a lot of people make a lot of money from also like doing trading education, which I do as well, and I make money from that, but it's not my main income, right? And it's important. I think it's important to try to like distinguish from that as well. If yeah, you know what I mean. It's a very tricky business for new people coming into this market. I remember me in the beginning, it was just a jungle, and I did buy courses. And it doesn't work. I mean, the best thing to do is I do believe that if you want to spend money learning how to trade, you probably shouldn't buy a trading course. I think it would be much better to get in touch with people that are actually trading and get into the circles where people actually trade, and try to ask them questions. People who are professional traders, try to get their opinion on stuff, and with that knowledge you build your own system, right? I think that is the best way to do it.
You need a coach, definitely, or most people need a coach. And I mean, this is exactly what we are trying to offer out there, being a coach, helping you to help yourself. I mean, if you want to start learning tennis, you're also not going to buy a book about tennis. At one point, maybe that can help you, having that book that reflects on certain techniques or whatever, but you're going to learn it by having somebody that plays with you or against you that is better than you, that you can copy stuff off, until you reach that level, where you can kind of develop your own style. So, I mean, obviously, I'm on the Prime XPT Academy YouTube channel. I'm also talking about trading system. Just yesterday, I did a live stream where I shared one of my trading system. But I always try to give a message also that, hey, don't copy this one-to-one. It's probably not going to work for you because you don't know all of the finesses that I've put into this over the years. I'm not going to share all of these finesses because they are not going to work for you. Take this as a foundation, that you have something that you can start working with and developing upon, And I think that's something that's totally okay to do, and that would have helped me also tremendously in the beginning of my career, to have something like this and not having to learn it all the hard way.
Yeah. All right, so it's been 30 minutes, and I feel like my ADD is kicking in because I'm losing focus. It's not. I think we had a good discussion right here. obviously, like we can talk about hours. I mean,
Yeah.
4 hours about this. When it comes to trading psychology, I think it's a huge subject and a very important subject. Something we are most likely going to come back to and talk about. But like a final comment here would be we talked a lot about back testing, and I also think that you should never stop back testing, right? You should never stop back
Yeah.
testing, and the best time to back test your system is when you start doubting your system, when you start losing confidence in your system. So for me, for example, what I will do this weekend is I will go through my journal, look at all my trades this month, and I will also back test the same period, right? And I will
Mm.
tell myself if I so back test all the pairs I'm scanning, right, over the same period, and I ask myself, what if I only take all the trades that are just absolutely perfect? Would that result be different from what I've done in my journal? Because I have made some mistakes in my journal, right? And if the back testing shows that it's more profitable than my journal, I know I'm making some mistakes.
Mm.
I have to go in and say, wait a minute, my system is actually better than I am. You know, I'm my just following my system gives me a better result
Mm.
than I trading the way I'm trading today. So continuously backtest. I would actually say that you should backtest at least like every other month. You should have an extensive backtesting session where you just look at how is the system actually performing without the emotions, you know?
Mm. Mm. Good point. Good point. Yeah. I think for me, the takeaway is learn to trust yourself. Learn to trust, not to trust others so much, learn to trust yourself
Yeah.
so you can grow. And if you've done your homework, you've done those back tests, you've done forward tests, you were successful maybe already also live with equal results to the back test, then trust yourself. Learn to trust yourself. Don't listen to your inner demons.
Yeah, I read a book where he said, so I read a book by somebody who had like a trading community, like a big trading community with professional traders, and he said like the one characteristic that is the same in all great traders is persistence, right?
Mm.
The
Yeah.
ability to just stick to your system and in all conditions have faith in the system. When you get beat down, you get back up and you follow that system, you know, over and over and over again. Be consistent and persistent when you're facing hardship, right? So I think that's what you have to work on. And a lot of people listening to this or watching this, you don't even have a system, right? You're trading based on nothing. You're just gambling, right?
Yeah.
I know probably most of people here will probably say that they don't have a system, right? So stop trading, right? Stop wasting your money. Stop trading. Get out of the market and develop a system first, and then get back into the market. That's my advice. If you call yourself a trader, um, you need a system, right?
Perfect. Couldn't have said it any better.
All right, guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we will see you guys next time. All right, take care.
Well, take care, everybody. Bye bye.